Beneath the winter stars. In a quiet town nestled between snow-capped mountains and silent pine forests, lived a young woman named Alara. She ran a small bookstore that sat at the corner of Maple and Fifth, a place filled with warm, the scent of old pages, and the soft hum of jazz music. Her days were simple, but her heart carried the quiet weight of waiting, for what, she never quite knew. One January evening, as the first snowfall of the year began to drift gently from the sky, a stranger stepped into her shop. He wore a navy wool coat dusted with snowflakes and carried nothing but a tattered leather notebook. His name was Callum, a writer traveling from city to city, seeking inspiration in unfamiliar places. Alara offered him tea and a place to sit. What began as a conversation about books turned into hours of laughter, shared dreams, and the quiet realization that something rare had sparked between them. Callum returned the next day, and the day after, until his visits became a part of her world. Weeks passed. Together they watched the snow paint the town in silver and white. They took long walks through frost-covered parks, talked about their favorite authors, and listened to the winter wind whisper through the trees. Alara showed him the hidden corners of the town, Callum showed her the hidden corners of herself. But winter, like all seasons, could not stay. Callum's journey was not yet over. He had a train ticket to another city and a deadline for a novel he had barely begun. The night before his departure, they sat beneath the stars on the roof of her bookstore. Wrapped in a single blanket, surrounded by silence and the distant glow of the town, they didn't speak much. There was nothing left to say that their hearts hadn't already spoken. "I wish I had met you sooner," Callum whispered. "I'm just glad I met you at all," Alara replied, her voice trembling with the weight of goodbye. He kissed her forehead, pressed his notebook into her hands, and left before dawn. Spring came. The snow melted, but the ache of his absence remained. Alara opened his notebook. Inside, she found pages filled with stories about her. About her smile, her voice, her kindness. The last page was a letter. "Alara, you were never just a chapter. You were the muse behind every word I thought I had lost. If fate is kind, it will bring me back to you. Love always. Callum." 2 years passed. Alara never stopped thinking of him. She read his book when it was published, a bestseller titled Beneath the Winter Stars. The dedication read, "To the girl who gave me words again." Then, one snowy evening, as she lit the candles in her shop, the doorbell chimed. He stood there, coat dusted with snow, eyes the same warm storm she remembered. "I told you," he smiled, "fate would bring me back." And this time, he stayed. The light between two shores. On the rugged coast of Cornwall, where cliffs kissed the sea and the wind carried whispers of time, there stood an old lighthouse named Mariner's Rest. It hadn't been used in years, but its presence remained, a silent sentinel over the waves. It was there that Alara, a marine biologist from London, came to study the tidipools and find peace after a difficult breakup that had left her heart bruised and uncertain. Alara was not expecting to meet anyone. She came for solitude, to hear only the ocean and her own thoughts. But fate, like the sea, has a way of changing course without warning. One afternoon, while sketching sea anemones near the rocks, she noticed a figure standing beside the lighthouse. He was tall, with a rough beard and thoughtful eyes. Dressed in a sweater that looked older than the stones around them, he watched the sea like he was trying to remember something long lost. Their eyes met. He gave a shy nod. You must be the scientist they mentioned at the village. She smiled. And you must be the ghost they talk about by the cliffs. He chuckled. Not quite. I'm Rowan. I take care of the lighthouse. But it's abandoned, she said. Even abandoned things deserve someone to care for them, he replied. That was the beginning. Over the weeks, Alara and Rowan shared quiet mornings and deep conversations. They spoke of stars and shipwrecks, of heartbreaks and dreams. He showed her secret paths through the cliffs, she told him about the creatures in the sea. Their bond grew not through grand gestures, but through the steady rhythm of time, like waves against the shore. One rainy night, as they sat inside the lighthouse watching the storm roll in, Alara asked, "Why do you stay here?" Rowan looked out at the lightning flashing over the sea. Because I lost someone once. She loved this place. After she was gone, I couldn't bear to leave it. Alara reached for his hand. Maybe it's time to let the light shine again. And so, together, they began restoring the lighthouse, painting the old walls, fixing the lantern, inviting life back into a place once full of silence. The villagers noticed the change. They brought stories, tools, and tea. The lighthouse, and the people around it, began to glow once more. By summer, the lighthouse beamed again, its light sweeping the sea each night. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Rowan turned to Alara. You brought the sea back to life for me, he said. And you brought me back to life too. She smiled, eyes full of light. Then let's never stop shining. Years later, the lighthouse is still there, standing proud. Inside, the walls are lined with shells, sketches, and memories. And every night, its beam crosses the waves, just as their love crosses time, enduring, steady, and bright as the stars above.